What's going on? Really excited for tonight. I'm going to go through the new Sam Casey single, I'm Fucking Sam. Great song, love it. I'm going to just break down production, talk a little bit about how we wrote it, that kind of thing. If you're enjoying this, like, subscribe, follow me here. You can follow me on Instagram. That's where I hang out most of the time. Today, I'm just going to do production. Just the production video. If you want to see the mix video, leave a comment, whatever, and let me know. I figured probably just start by listening to the song. I just think it's more interesting if we know what the song sounds like. So we'll listen through the song, and then I'll jump into the Pro Tools session. We'll go through the production, see what we did. Here we go.
I'm going to say... Love it when you make me hate myself, 'cause you seem to have it all figured out. Calling me lazy while you're lying on the couch. Tell me what's good for me, tell me who I'm gonna be, but you already know. Doesn't matter what I do, nothing's good enough for you. And I could've made the paper, would've made you proud. Button down my anxious so I can wear it out. I know who I am, I'm fucking Sam, who are you? You've been getting sloppy, running your mouth, get inside my head, stop, shut it down. I know who I am, I'm fucking Sam, who are you? Never been so happy with myself. I've been drinking for my mental health. It's making me crazy. Maybe it's a cry for help. Tell me what's good for me, tell me who I'm gonna be, but you already know. Doesn't matter what I do, nothing's good enough for you. And I could've made the paper, would've made you proud. Button down my anxious so I can wear it out. I know who I am, I'm fucking Sam, who are you? You've been getting sloppy, running your mouth, get inside my head, stop, shut it down. I know who I am, I'm fucking Sam, who are you? I've been making mistakes, yeah. The black sheep finding her way, yeah. Always doing things that make them say,
Sam, what are you doing?
could've made the paper, would've made you proud. Button down my anxious so I can wear it out. I know who I am, I'm fucking Sam. Aboopa. Could've made the paper, would've made you proud. Button down my anxious so I can wear it out. I know who I am, I'm fucking Sam, who are you? You've been getting sloppy, running your mouth, get inside my head, stop, shut it down. I know who I am, I'm fucking Sam, who are you? I know who I am, I'm fucking Sam, who are you? I've never been so happy with myself. I've been drinking for my mental health.
Okay, so song sounds great. Reuben Ghose mastered it, did an incredible job. Reuben always kills it. Let's just go through the session, kind of how we wrote it. So we wrote I'm Fucking Sam pretty early in the writing process. Wrote it with Laur.elle, who also wrote Good Fight with us, which was Sam's last single that I did a video on. I'll link that somewhere here, probably in the description there. But it was kind of the first time that we did this with Sam, where she was doing all this character, and she's a very animated person, so it was cool to give her a song that also was equally as animated. We were listening to a bunch of Upsall, a bunch of Dua Lipa, but also like Pixies. We did a whole deep dive into grungy but poppy stuff like Hole and Veruca Salt. So there was all those influences as well. I came up with this little chord progression, played this guitar part. Nobody really liked it. But that guitar part was right here. And what I did to it is I chopped it all up. Chopped it, muted a bunch of stuff. Because when I started playing it, I was like, these are the right chords. I know this is the right chords. And when I started playing it, it sounded kind of like Sweet Home Alabama. And nobody was into that vibe. Understandably so. I chopped it up, reversed a bunch of stuff. The guitar part came out kind of weird and artifacty. And then we sped the song up. And I didn't replay the guitar part. And we actually sped the song up twice. We sped it up once before we wrote it, and then we sped it up again after it was all done, tracked, everything. We sped up the song, I think, 3 BPM, something like that. Crazy. And it definitely was better sped up. The guitar part came out being super weird, super quirky. And so we can look at what I actually did here. Literally picked up guitar, this guy right here. What's on there is just some RC20 on just the... I just started with whatever it comes up with because filtering, that kind of thing. And then Mix Hub because I was using Mix Hub on everything. When we did this, I think we wrote it almost a year and a half ago. So I was doing lots of Mix Hub. The next stage of that was just a little bit more treatment. Old tempo. A lot slower, a lot less energy. So I'm doing some compression, more RC20. It looks like... So I would have played this with the UAD Fender amp into this optical because I wanted it to feel really forward and really immediate, and then into some RC20 with the filters and some stereo-ness, and then into black, and then into some channel strip 2, which is not doing anything, and then some filter that I am sure automates at some point. Yes, it does automate later. So we'll look at that when it happens. And then I committed that, and then we sped up. Once I committed that, a little bit of pink. I haven't used that plugin in a minute. A little bit of Spectre, and still that filter, all that filter movement. So I'm leaving that filter on right until the very end there. So yeah, so that's it. That's the guitar treatment. And most of it is just the way that I chopped and mangled that guitar. And then the time stretching to get it up to the new tempo. And so you can hear all the artifacts. Doesn't feel played at all, which is totally the point. I believe that we actually just wrote the verses over that guitar part. Next thing that happened, obviously, if you're writing, is a vocal. Let's listen.
Love it when you make me hate myself, 'cause you seem to have it all figured out. Calling me lazy while you're lying on the couch.
So the next thing I added was just a little bit of drums. I felt like it did need some energy and some movement. Lots of weird stuff in the drums there. It's all in battery, which is how I usually do my drums if I'm working from samples. This is all splice stuff. So some weird found object stuff. You know, these are some of the samples from the I Am Hill sample pack. I've done a couple of videos on how we made that. And that's kind of all that's in the intro. That little percussion thing is like a little mini hook in there, a little rhythmic hook. And it plays against the guitar really nicely. So let's listen to those together. Just really complements each other. Then we get to the pre. Still nothing happening. Really minimal. Really minimal. So the things that are there matter a lot. So that guitar part has to feel super cool, which it does because it chopped it and treated it weird. And then the vocals had to be engaging, which they are. And Sam really nailed that delivery. And then the pre happens.
Tell me what's good for me, tell me who I'm gonna be, but you already know. Doesn't matter what I do, nothing's good enough for you and
And so we have this little tambourine that comes in. That's the only musical element other than vocal that changes. That is a real tambourine that is just lo-fied and with a little bit of space on it. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen me do this before. This is that shop's upmix. Upmix is brilliant, and not just because it has a brilliance knob. It does something that's very cool and is reverb but isn't reverb. Real tambourine, it's somewhere over there. A little bit of room on it, and then lo-fi. Little distortion, little saturation, little sample rate, sounding really good. So all that changes is the vocal. So there's still the
tell me what's good for
still the straight ahead lead vocal, but now we've got some layers.
Tell me what's good for me, tell me who I'm gonna be, but you already
And that was just pitched. That's Alter Boy. Alter Boy and some waves doubler with no center. And then we've got these other character vocals.
Tell me what's good for me. Tell me who I'm gonna be, but you already know.
So just lots of texture and gravel in the voice. So all together makes up for something new that we haven't heard in the song yet. Oh, we should talk about how the song starts. Song starts with Sam, just a little outtake.
I'm gonna say.
We were rolling through takes really quickly. I was like, can you say something there? She was like, yeah, I'm going to say, and then started laughing about what she was going to say. So why not start the song like that? Then we get to the chorus. When we were writing it, I think I built the teeny tiniest little drum loop to write under. But obviously the song needs to hit at some point. Drums change dramatically in this section. So let's start there. So there's real shaker. The rest of the drums are just going crazy. Very cool. Just good sounds. Lots of different hits. Lots of different sounds going on in there. That's a great sample. I don't know where that came from. Somewhere on Splice. I don't think that's... No, it's not one of mine. But great sample, great sound. And it's not in the key of the song, I don't believe. Maybe it is. Great sample. Something just super random and weird in there. Lots of different claps and sounds. So that's from the I Am Hill pack. And lots of little scrapes and random things, and yeah, just trying to get lots of different textures and sounds, because there isn't a lot of parts to the song. There's not a lot going on musically. Song's pretty short, so everything that's there, like I said before, everything that's there has to be super interesting. So one of the ways to do that is to make sure that each sound is very unique. If you look at the MIDI for it here, you know, every hit has something else going on. And then there's a shot in the middle of the chorus. Big gated kicks on it. The other thing that comes in the chorus is the bass, a sub bass in Serum. Just a little bit of filter, a little bit of volume there. A little bit of filter here, some distortion, a little bit of compression. Nothing too crazy. Just a good gritty sub. And then into some gain station to grit it up just a little more and to control it. I wanted to pull it back a little bit and then just cutting stuff because there was a lot building up. Trying to do that stuff in sound design phase. The other thing is we changed guitar sounds a little bit. This is actually a really good time to talk about. I produced this song twice because we did it pretty early in writing the record and pretty early in producing the record too. And Sam hadn't really tracked any vocals for the record yet. We didn't really know what her vocal sound was going to be like. When she came in to cut the vocal, there's all this inflection and it got really weird, and I loved it. And so did she. And then I had to reproduce the song. So this was part of that. So duplicated that verse guitar, which was kind of playing the whole way through, and got a fuzz pedal. So started really looking for some grit in this section of the song. And then some micro shift, still that filter. If we just back up, same guitar part, just without the RC20, without the widening and the warble. Way more aggressive. So that's what I did in the chorus to make that kind of stand out. Next thing that happened was the vocal.
Could've made that paper, would've made you proud.
Single vocal, just trying to match the aggression of that guitar part with distorting the vocal with the Black Op distortion, which is just a rat pedal. It's the stock Avid rat pedal. It's amazing. It sounds great. I use it on everything. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've probably seen me use it on something else. And then just some verb and a little bit of slap delay. And I'm just squishing that vocal with Arvox so it hits that distortion really evenly. The rest is just Sam being super quirky. Then we did some ad-lib stuff.
I can wait it out.
A different type of distortion. This is like a tube screamer. If I made that track active, you'd see that plugin right there is a tube screamer. So hyper auto-tune, distorty.
I can wait it out.
We did a couple ad-lib tracks.
Who are you?
Pitched it down to make it feel like somebody else. Separate it from that lead vocal a little bit. The last ad-lib.
I know. I'm fucking Sam.
So that's just her saying that she knows who she is, which is the point of the song. But that one we left more natural, so you know that it's her saying it. But the rest of them, they're like distorted and messed up. A little reverse into the chorus here. It's guitar, this reverse reverb. So that's kind of it for the chorus, except for this lead guitar part. When I was producing this song, it reminded me of this song from the mid-90s called A Girl Like You by Edwin Collins. And I know that because I looked it up before I did this video. A Girl Like You by Edwin Collins has this grimy guitar part in it. Super distorted fuzz face kind of thing. I don't know why, but I got this idea that that's what this song needed, was this kind of guitar part. So I started with something pretty bluesy, that Corey Wong Neural DSP amp. I think it's just some compression and just amp. Just pushing the amp a little bit. And no effects or anything on there. Using some Infiltrator. And I was using Infiltrator because I had tried a bunch of different distortions and nothing worked. Nothing was doing quite what I wanted. Normally I would use like a fuzzface. Didn't work for this. Needed something just a little bit different. So the Fear Crusher really set that up. And then Vocal Doubler, this isotope plugin that is insane that it's free. And then just filtering. Sounds very much like a modern, updated, weirder version of the guitar in A Girl Like You. I was super stoked about that. And then the only other thing that happens in the chorus is this little bloop, bloop, bloop. Just to help that guitar part pop after that. And that's it. That's the chorus. Then we're back into the second verse. To get into the second verse, we're using just a little bit of fuzz guitar. So to get that, I'm just doing a lower octave with Alter Boy. And then this is the Avid version of fuzz pedal. And then some phaser, and then just a bunch of EQ to get things out of the way. So when the second verse hits, I decided maybe we should try some 808s. Little 808 line that just outlines the chords on the root notes, and then just a little bit of guitar with it. And some reverse reverb on that guitar part, just to make it feel even grosser. And then Sam's vocal, but now there's a low vocal under it.
Never been so happy with myself. I've been drinking for my mental health, making me crazy. Maybe it's a cry for help.
We wanted to make sure at the end that it's kind of stopped when she was saying it. Maybe it's a cry for help. This like real moment of like self-realization. But how do you get back into the pre and not ruin momentum of the song because the verse is so short? The way to do that was to do some delays.
Tell me what's good for me. Tell me.
So that's just a delay. I just grabbed the first word here, reversed it, did a delay, flipped it back around. So it builds into pre-chorus. Then the pre is largely the same, except now we've got some ad-libs.
You already know. Doesn't matter what I do, nothing's good enough for you and I couldn't mean the paper.
And then we're into the chorus again. Same reverse, everything's the same, except now, instead of just this little sub that we had before, that one, it's right here, we've got more gross. So bigger, wider, just more distorted. Now we need to go bigger because it's the second chorus. Also got these little plucks. And some string pizzicatos. So that's all fun. These plucks are kind of cool because they are, I made them in Serum. They're just a pluck that I made. And then Bit Crush and Distort. Gives it kind of like another movement, so it's not just as growly basses and... And everything's hitting that little motif on the end. We bring that fuzz guitar back to do it. But everything kind of has its own space there. Everything is working off each other. And then we get to the bridge. And that really reminded me of like Beastie Boys. Those guitars are tracked in like that. If I back all this off. That is the Universal Audio fuzz pedal, the Bermuda Triangle pedal. And then just filtering and a little bit of EQ, and then just squishing them with Renaissance Axe to get them to sit as solid as possible. So don't need much because they're already distorted beyond belief. But taking the top off helps the mid-range cut through and blah, blah, blah. We can do a mixing video if you want. If you want a mixing video, let me know. But in production, it was really just those fuzz and then just taking the graininess off the top. So to complement that like big Beastie Boys kind of like energy, Sam had to do a pretty big vocal.
I've been making mistakes, yeah. The black sheep fighting her way, yeah. Always doing things that make them say.
So we did a low vocal that was in the center that felt pretty safe and bigger ones on the sides. And Sam was like, let me keep going, let me keep going, let me keep going. And so she ended up doing this crazy vocal. I believe we actually tracked into distortion for her to do it.
I've been making mistakes, yeah. The black sheep fighting her way, yeah. Always doing things that make them say.
Sam, what are you doing?
That little voice memo is actually a voice memo from her mom, which I thought was great. And then it's a little down chorus.
Could've made the paper when I made you proud. Button down my anxious so I can wear it out. I know who I am, I'm fucking Sam. A boopa.
And I was like, what the hell is a boopa? And I have a lava lamp sitting over here because it's not a studio without a lava lamp. She's like, that's the sound your lava lamp would make if it talked. These are my favorite things always in records. Ridiculous thing to put in there. And then we're back into the song.
A boopa. Could've made the paper when I made you.
And it was just full tilt all the way to the end. When that chorus hits, we got that fuzz guitar riff. And then we've got some extra layers. The synth layer, just to help out those pizzicatos. Add some length, make it feel really big. We've also got this extra guitar part. Oh, and we've also got this ARP. Little Juno. Just pulling a bunch of the bottom end out of it. So all those elements, so those are the new things. So lots of sparkle and fizz, lots of length and density. Because so far the track's been, progressively more dense each time the chorus comes around. But we're really trying to fill space. So filling up all those upper frequencies, filling up all the subdivisions, and then end the song back where we started it with just that intro guitar part and Sam singing real
Been
quiet.
so happy with myself. I've been drinking for my mental health.
And that's it. That's the whole song. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you enjoyed it, please leave me a comment. Let me know. Hit me up on Instagram if that's easier for you. If you would like me to do a breakdown of the mix, please let me know that too. And until next time, peace.